Hang on.
Dave is going mute.
All right. Mike, you ready?
Yep.
3, 2, 1.
Welcome back to another episode of Let's Go Hunt, the Everyman's Hunting and Outdoor podcast. We aren't experts, but we're out there doing it. Join us on our journey. As always, we have Sam Alexander, who's only here for the vodka and the Soviet goodies, Dave Packard, who has his application in and better draw his elk tag, and I'm Vince H., who is waiting for colder days, and I'm Mike Gonsalves, who is technically alive, which is the most correct kind of alive. They mixed some things up on me, and I got confused. So tonight we're catching up and memorializing with the Bush Pig. Welcome back, my brother, the Fish Squeezer.
Fish Squeezer.
Howdy.
Howdy.
We don't really have any sort of agenda with you tonight. We just
So is it like brother from another mother or like brother?
no, it's brother from the
Planet 9?
the way I wanted to take that. I'm not going to because that mother may
Anyway.
be watching. So moving on.
Bros. You bros.
Yeah, we bros.
Yeah.
Literal brothers.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, literal. Thanks for clarifying.
Like we have a third brother whose tooth I knocked out with a Lego.
What's
Yeah,
his
and he-
name?
Alan.
Oh,
And he pushed me into the corner of a coffee table. What's your point?
sounds like a dick. Anyway,
We were brothers. What do you want from me? Any of us.
Fish
To be fair,
fish
he
squeezer.
he was chasing me with a broom, and then as soon as he realized I fell into a coffee table, he's the first one that picked me up and took me to mom. So I'll give him that.
Oh,
okay.
That's just because he knew he'd get in more trouble if he left you.
You're fine. Do it to me. Do it to me.
Michael, honest question: would you have left me back then?
After you smashed your head through a coffee table? No, I wouldn't have left you.
Be honest.
Right now?
No.
Yeah.
Not right now. I mean, back then,
No,
30
I
years
didn't.
ago.
Even back then, none of us hated each other. We grew up. We actually had a really solid family. We just didn't realize it because we were dysfunctional as everybody else.
Sure.
But we had a solid family group. Like we picked on each other, and I smashed Alan's Legos. Like who was really the asshole here? But we picked on each other. We beat each other up. We ganged up on each other. Like the three of you would gang up on me. I would then the boys would turn around and gang up on Tina, and then the younger three would gang up on Alan, and it was a family
so
dynamic.
Confused. How many kids are you?
There
4.
are 3 brothers and a sister.
Okay. That's not as many as I thought.
3 brothers, 1 sister, and Mike's other 2 personalities.
Now,
They weren't fully
Vince,
formed yet.
Vince, do
So,
you have a
hold on,
a-
Dave, this is important.
Okay.
Vince, my mother always wanted 6 children, and she constantly talks about how raising me was like raising triplets. So you don't know how right you are.
That wasn't meant to be a compliment, I don't think.
It wasn't,
Really?
but he's still
No, it
right.
wasn't.
And he's still correct.
No wrong. No.
I had the
Vince-
climbing personality, I had the angry personality, and I had the run into things and get stitches personality.
This explains so much.
Vince, do you have older and younger siblings?
I have 1 older brother.
Hmm.
And we used to reenact scenes from Lord of the Rings, but we used landscaping timbers, like the stakes you pull out of the ground, and we'd
As you
fight
would.
each other with them. And
Standard.
we made increasingly elaborate fake weaponry that we would hammer each other with. And there were injuries.
Of course there were. It was childhood.
Had to be.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Sam?
that absolutely I would have pulled your head out of the glass coffee table, Jeffrey.
No, I'm not saying that it wasn't through a glass coffee table. You're making it sound like that I had my neck cut open. No, I bonked my head on the coffee table.
Yeah, that's
making
what I'm
it
saying.
sound-
Like even if your neck was cut open, I'd have still been there.
There's
No,
a
I know
snake
you would have for that.
So if
but I
you
bonked
just
my
bumped your
on-
head,
yeah, you would have been gone.
no.
No.
I would have
No.
made sure you were fine. Then I would have been gone.
Don't tell
Wanna get in
mom.
trouble for it. She won't notice. It's a star in the eye. Ah, don't tell mom.
Mike's acting like he's Stewie and you owe him $50.
Where's my money, man?
Some people out there will not get that reference, and that's okay.
How much that fake mustache cost you? $6.99. You got $6.99 for fake mustaches, but can't give me my $50. Where's my money, man?
Oh boy.
Sam, how many brothers do you have?
0. I have 2 sisters. Neither of them are worthy of manhood.
Oh, damn.
Neither are you, so it's fair.
So your mom has more girls?
Shit.
I have 2 older
Sam's throwing
brothers.
shade.
I like that Jeff was like right there with it too.
Yeah, the best part is he was muffled in the background though, so I didn't have to hear it.
That's okay. Anybody
Yeah,
who
I got-
downloads the podcast can go back 15 seconds. Quick, hit it right now, guys, and you can hear it again. And then in 15 seconds, you can hit it again and hear it over and over and over.
Uh-huh. No, I got 2 older brothers.
Nice. Were they mean to you? Like
Well,
Mike
they
was to
used to
Jeff.
sit me down and force me to eat random assortments of like, here's 2 pieces of bread with peanut butter, ice cream, chili powder, lots of pepper, and a scoop of mayonnaise on top. Eat that.
I called those concoctions.
Yeah,
but it
they
was
used to make
usually-
me sit and eat that kind of just random stuff. And then there was one time that we were doing that, and one of them looks out the window, and there's our parents coming down the hill. So it was like, quick, throw it out to the dogs, quick, quick.
The dogs are turning green, and the parents are like, "Why are the dogs sick?" Oh,
I loved it.
must have been
Your
something
dad
they
like-
ate.
Where's all my ice cream?
I also did that, but it wasn't involving bread. It was usually a butterscotch pudding cup that we added lemon juice and some barbecue rib rub and some like coffee creamer and various other assortment that we could find in the fridge. And I'd be like, "Oh, you got to taste it." And then my little brother would, and he would about puke. And
Yeah,
then
we used to.
it was a great
crap
time.
in high school or in junior high. Just mix all the crap together in a cup, everything you could find, and then dare somebody to drink it,
Mhm.
or pay them to drink it.
Pay, drink it, or I'll punch you.
I don't think you understand the high school we went to.
Bitch,
Junior high.
what high school did you go to?
One where I got punched if I didn't drink it.
How many kids you graduate with? This is
118.
total fucking tangent. Okay, yeah, I graduated with 432.
You people.
Yeah,
All
that's
right.
my point.
So,
Can I,
Sam's over
can I
here
be
with
the one to
7.
say anyway?
yeah,
Anyway,
anyway,
we're a
Jeff,
hunting podcast or
Jeff,
something.
Jeff,
Yes.
remind us who you are, because I forgot.
So I am a game warden with the Colorado Parks and Wildlife.
Okay.
I'm also Michael's brother. I don't
Sadly.
usually lead with that.
We figured that
I
part out,
wouldn't.
I think, over the last 7 minutes. So we're good there. We're
That's why I
good.
led with Bush Pig, not my brother, the Bush Pig.
Yep.
But most people
So-
think of bush pig as probably like, a wild hog, not that connotation.
Right.
mean,
you know, bush
That's
pig,
just what the ladies call them.
fish cop, rabbit ranger.
What Casey calls you, please. keep
Rabbit
to
Ranger is Forest Service.
yourself.
Thank you for making that distinguished.
Yeah, no, Fish Cop is CPW. Rabbit Ranger, that's Forest Service. It says law enforcement right down the side of their white pickup.
They have to remind you so that you take them seriously.
Don't fuck with them. They will fuck
Like-
with you.
They
If
pull
we
up.
can
And,
find
did you
you,
pay for that parking space? Does it actually say law enforcement on your truck? Yeah. Did
Oh,
you
yeah.
pay for that park? I'm out of here.
No, down here in the grasslands, oh, they are all over the place.
When we were cutting Christmas
Because you
trees,
have one fish cop.
yeah, when we were cutting Christmas trees,
Two.
there were a couple of them patrolling around. I was like, keep driving. Good boys. Keep on moving. And they came up
Gotta
back a
protect
while
the
later.
trees, man.
I've got a
Well,
tag
Smiling
for
wave,
this.
boys. Smiling wave.
They want to make sure you got tags, and they want to make sure. Mostly, I think they were looking to see what the diameter of the bottom of the tree was on the top of the car.
Got to make
Yeah.
sure you cut the. Got to make sure your tree's got a 5-inch brow tine. That's really.
Did you Griswold your tree?
No,
Where it's just roots? It's like, ha ha, ain't no trunk.
So back to fish cop.
yes. So made my introduction.
that was the awkward silence.
I thought you had more.
This is the part of the date where you're supposed to
We
drink a
derailed
little
you.
bit more to socially lubricate yourself. So I'm gonna do that.
No, I'm pretty good here, but yeah, just wanted to jump on with you guys. If you guys had any questions for me, or
I
can-
actually do have some questions for you.
Same.
Oh no.
I had one,
They-
and I'm
they-
not sure if anybody wrote it down, so I'll have to write it down.
Um,
Mike, did you forward my question along?
I believe so. What was your question?
Yeah, well, my question launching in is I've been reading about how the over-the-counter archery elk tags in 2025 are on the chopping block. I didn't know if that was A, true, and then B, just a rough explanation for why, because I'm sure a lot of people looked at that and went, ah, and I looked at it and went, ah.
so I won't speak too much onto
So-
it because it hasn't been.
So yeah, it's like basically been proposed, right?
Yeah, it's been proposed. It's going to the commission. The commission still has to approve on it. As for the why, there's multitudes of reasons why. Overcrowding is probably one of the reasons. People want a more quality hunt, and that's probably the biggest factor.
Yeah,
And
that's
there's-
what I was reading.
Yeah, that's about the
So
main
what-
reason.
So I suppose on that one, then we'll just wait to see if or when or whatever it passes, and then
Right.
I'll probably reach out to you for or at least I'll just do more research on it then. I know
Okay.
when we went up there was overcrowding, but only if you were on the road. And that was about it. At least the area we were in, man, you
Right.
could hear people tooling up and down that road 24 hours a day. And then 100 yards off the road, gone.
Right.
David's killing me with the hand, but it's
I had to uncam for the hand.
He needs a little button that he can push, and his little screen will just blink.
Don't they
Careful,
have
you're
that
getting
in
real
Zoom?
close into Zoom. Yeah.
Oh, Zoom does have that, don't they?
I'm
That's
fat
fine.
enough.
That's
I'm
not
just
familiar.
at Zoom. Anyway, Jeff, when you say that people were talking about overpopulation or overcrowding, and then the quality of hunt, do you get that info from the HIP program, Harvest Information? Shit.
No, because the Harvest Information Program
Okay.
only deals with small game.
Really?
Yep.
Oh yeah, the big game survey.
Oh, the big game
is-
survey. Yes.
Is okay. Yeah, HIP
Yeah.
is small game.
Right.
That's-
And so
that's right.
there's the big game survey. Yes, they do ask those questions about
Mhm.
overcrowding and stuff like that. It's also observed by people in the field like me about
Mhm.
what's overcrowding and what's not. I'll give you kind of an example. Way back in the day, probably at least 20 years ago, if not more, the flat tops, which is an over-the-counter rifle unit, well, used to be, and I think that was one of your questions as well, and we can get into that later. The flat tops was over-the-counter rifle, and it was over-the-counter archery 25, 30 years ago. It's got to the point where over-the-counter archery was busier than the rifle seasons, and there was
Jesus.
people everywhere. So at that point, we limited the over-the-counter archery, so no longer over-the-counter. They just made it limited to reduce on the number of people that were in the woods for archery season. And what that does is that it pushes animals off of the forest and onto private ground a lot sooner than before the
Mhm.
rifle seasons.
I can see that.
Okay,
No,
well,
that's
all I had.
great. So, if you're in Colorado and you hunt Colorado, do your big game survey.
Yep, absolutely.
Where does the HIP fall into that? I've always wondered exactly what the HIP does. I just do it because it says do it, and it seems like the big game survey, but I don't.
Oh,
It's
I
for
don't-
small.
real quick.
Right. But the populations of small game are so vastly different than the big game ones. I don't fully understand the concept.
Guess what, Mike?
What?
If you get your small game license online, you have to do your HIP number or have to do your HIP before you get your license. So it's
Yeah.
just done.
That's not
No.
going to be a thing for me. I'm still going to have to do it every year.
No, you have to do it before you check out.
I
Yep.
can't check out, dude. I have a lifetime small game and fishing license.
Oh. Oh yeah, that's right. You're broken.
Yep.
I wish I could like reapply for it, but you still have to get a new one every year. So
Anyway, no, that was new for
That's
me. I was like,
that's
oh
genuine-
shit, yeah.
that's
have to
actually good
forget
to hear.
about
That's
this.
a great idea because I think I've forgotten about it. Like right before, I was like, "Hey, did I do that?"
Mike,
Honest-
speaking of this, do you have your fur bearer stamp permit?
Do I? Yeah.
Okay, good. Anyway,
Yeah.
moving on.
Yeah, of course I do.
You trying to
Coyote.
railroad your co-host here?
I just want to make
He's
sure so
trying.
that,
It's
when
not
I
working.
so that when I drag him out in April to go find some beaver, he's not like, "Do I have that? I don't know."
Things have been thawing so well
You
down here that
tag
I'm
this.
almost tempted to like go up there within the next week or two.
They're not up there. That ice is still going to be probably about yay thick. Maybe not yay thick. Maybe about yay thick.
Your ice is going to be yay thick.
Me, 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 me.
Meh, 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 meh.
No, it is super fucking handy having
That was
The hip-
generous, Jeff. Generous.
it's super handy having the hip survey just up there whenever you check out. That way you don't forget about it, like I did when we did the youth dove hunt, and I was like, "Oh fuck," because
I think that's fantastic.
the wildlife manager down here is like, everybody got their hip number. I was like, "Oh god damn it!" And so I did my hip number and my daughter's hip number while we're sitting in the class. I'm like, Jesus.
Here's my question about it, though. The big game surveys, they come out, they email them to you after the season's over. The hip surveys you have to do before you hunt.
Because it's asking about your previous season.
Oh, okay. But it also asks about your upcoming season. Are you planning to hunt sandhill
Right.
crane? Are you planning to hunt coyote? Is it basically getting the same? Last season you weren't planning on hunting sandhill crane, but you did anyway. You indicated you did anyway. Are you planning to do that again this year? Is that the kind of thing that you're talking about?
Right. And I don't see any of those stats. We just see stats on potential harvest, and really the only ones we're concerned about up here is sage grouse. And we're and some of those stats I think they need to be tweaked a little bit. Because it's like, did you harvest between 1 and 10 sage grouse or between 10 and 20? It's like, maybe we could get a little more specific. Maybe just like enter the number of sage grouse you kill.
Yeah. Or 1 and 5.
Yeah.
5 and 10.
Right. Maybe if you're talking about doves and you go dove hunting every weekend for the season, it could be between 1 and 25 or 1 and 50 or it's a lot. Sage grouse we want to keep a really tight handle on. Because they were on the block to be federally threatened about 10 years ago, and then their numbers got a lot better. So there's always that little stigma with them about how they might be, their numbers might be, let me rephrase that. There's that stigma about how their numbers might be threatened at some point. There we go. Got there eventually. Sorry.
Same with the greater prairie chicken, correct?
Right. Yep.
Yeah.
And the greater prairie chicken, that's actually one of the weirdest bag limits we have in Colorado. It's 2 bird annual limit. So you can shoot 2 of them. So I don't understand why we don't have a stamp or a permit like we do sandhill crane or band-tailed pigeon, and then they mail you 2 tags. I don't get it. They that's what they should do, but that's literally on the honor system.
Are band-tailed pigeon migratory?
I really don't know all that much about band-tailed pigeon. I've never even seen
Me either.
one.
I know sandhill crane are, and being migratory, I could understand needing the permit.
Right.
Greater prairie chicken, they're
not migratory.
I've never fucking seen one down here, but that's where they are apparently.
Right.
So, yeah, I wasn't sure. So, this good.
Years ago, I was hunting with my father-in-law up by Holyoke, and I had a chance to get one. And when it popped up, I'm like, hen pheasant. And by the time I saw it had a rounded tail, I'm like, oh, son of a bitch.
I have, honest to God, never seen one. I know there is a viewing area out here. So says the road sign
Mhm.
that you can go view greater prairie chicken, but I have never fucking seen one. So
They would actually
Here-
pay attention to those road signs.
Here
I
in
have a real
about-
quick question.
not my road.
And
Yeah.
if I don't ask it, I'm going to lose it. The federal government, they're basically the ones that are in charge of like, hey, this species is not doing so hot, right?
Yep.
Have they ever encountered a species in the history of our country where they were like, you know what? Actually, fuck that animal. Let it die.
Snow geese.
That's
Prairie
not
dogs?
happening.
No, not prairie dogs. Eurasian collared dove.
Well, yeah, but the only time that's ever happened is when it's an invasive species. So yes,
Yeah.
it has.
Okay, that's genuinely fair points, fair examples.
I mean,
But they
They
don't
paid
really
people-
allow us the ability to do what is necessary to take care of these species. Like we have Eurasian collared doves all over populated areas, but we can't actually take care of them in the manner we would like to because in certain areas, yes, it will endanger other people. In other areas, it'll endanger property. Like you can't just go and shoot the collards off of the power lines because you'll break the power lines. It
Vince, go.
I have a question. I'll pose it as a question. Didn't
Sure.
the federal government basically pay people to hunt the gray wolf into extinction in the lower 48?
Yes, way
Once
back in the day, they did have bounties on them.
I mean, Mike asked if they ever said, fuck this animal in particular, and that kind of sounds like it.
and that-
So,
that's
yeah.
thank you, Vince, for
Oh,
actually bringing it
oh.
back on topic because
Should
I
we-
just realized.
Should we just
um,
realize the big one, the elephant in the room? Bison.
Well,
Oh, you were going to go bison. I was going to go
That's
cat.
ecological warfare.
yeah. What I was more specifically talking about was there an animal that an animal that was about to go endangered, not an animal that came over here from another nation or continent and is doing what basically animals do, migrated. But I'm not going to get into that.
No. The Prebles
Has there been
Meadow-
an endangered animal that the federal government was like, you know what? These are endangered for a reason. Fuck them. That's what I meant. I see the points about the invasive species.
I,
At this point in our country's history, no, they don't do that.
I was about to say,
But like what Vince said, yes, in the past they have.
Like currently, no, but in the past, yes.
can you imagine the absolute political just
Regardless of which party did it, they everybody would be
cares?
like, "Oh my god, they hate animals."
You extincted an animal.
Dude, Twitter would be at fire.
Okay, so to your point, real quick. Sorry to cut you off, Jeff.
Mhm.
But there is protected ground in Monument, Colorado for the Prebles Meadow jumping mouse.
Mm-hmm.
A
I think we have-
fucking mouse
we got
Right.
a section of
because
that.
they're endangered.
We got about a 100 square yard section of that just down the road from me.
Yeah, exactly. Because they need to be
Just
protected.
a little scoop, a little square of grass. Hey, I'm fine with it because it kept them from building houses in that square of grass.
Yeah, which is fine, but at the same time, if you have a patch of ground and they find a fucking Prebles Meadow jumping mouse nest on said ground, it is now protected. And
That's always-
I wanted to build a shop on that, and they can get fucked, and I'm going to burn it anyway.
Okay, I would have admit that on the internet.
Yeah,
I've always
fine.
thought it was funny because for me, I'm like, but is the mouse still there? Or is the
Right.
mouse like, I don't like this neighborhood anymore?
hmm It's too woke.
honestly, that's probably not a road I'm going to go down tonight.
Yeah.
Because
No, you don't regulate that.
yeah, and I understand there's checks and balances, and there's a need for this thing, and there's a need for another thing. And my personal opinion, well, my professional opinion is that there's something that's endangered and it's in danger of going extinct. We need to do something to help it out.
Mm-hmm.
My personal opinion, putting the badge and patch aside, is there are things that we need in life. And sometimes that comes at a cost, but you also have to balance that cost.
Yep.
If that was ambiguous enough to keep me out of trouble.
Oh, so you didn't have to say anything.
It's fine. I mean, aoudad sheep are an invasive species here in Colorado.
Yep.
That doesn't mean that they're not protected in Texas. Not protected as such, but like, hey, you need a tag to go shoot this thing.
Right. Except
Yeah, it's
during the that's on public ground in Texas, if I believe. And if you go onto private ground in Texas, which Texas is mostly private ground,
Mhm.
you can shoot an aoudad with a license any time of the year, and you can shoot as many of them as you want.
Yeah, you just need the exotics license, which covers
Yeah.
all of the
Yep.
the fun stuff.
Elk
the reason
is
they-
on that, are they not?
I
In Texas,
I think
I think
so,
they are.
but I don't
I
know
think-
for sure.
To my knowledge, I think elk are technically an invasive species in Texas.
Technically, I don't think they are.
Yeah,
They don't?
technically not.
No, because elk were a plains animal originally.
Yeah,
And I would imagine that they were
Originally.
in Texas at some point. So
Technically,
may
I
have
think
to.
people are the invasive
just depends
species
on
in
how-
Texas.
what, Michael?
I think people are the invasive species in Texas.
No,
Yeah.
Texans are the invasive species for everyone else.
No, that's Californians.
Why not?
Yeah,
Why
same
not all
difference.
three are true?
Elk are native to Texas and once lived in the plains along with bison, antelope, and deer. There you go.
Really?
Yeah. I've said you
Okay,
guys have
so they're not invasive.
you guys have heard me say before that elk
We have
were
heard
plains
you-
animals originally,
heard
and
you
that people
parrot,
pushed
Jeff.
them. Yes, you have heard me parrot, Jeff. Because where do you think I heard it from?
Oh, I always said
That's
I
exactly
mean-
the point I was making. Was
And
where
I
do you think
guarantee
heard
you,
this?
I told Michael that when I was like 10 years old.
he
probably.
probably did. And he's been saying it ever since.
And I've probably hated people ever since because I like elk,
Yeah.
and I'd like to see more elk, less people.
Well,
Elk
see,
are
the
great.
thing is that whistling noises here. It's a kind of, here's a comparison. Wildlife biology nerd coming out in me. Elk, when they bugle, makes a whistling noise,
Mm-hmm.
and that carries better over open ground. And
Huh.
the red deer in Europe and Russia and Eurasia, they're basically the same species, but they evolved in a more wooded environment, and instead they roar.
Huh. I
That
have-
is,
Go ahead, Dave.
I got to thinking the other day about red deer and how freaked the fuck out I would be if I heard one at night. Just, they're aggressive. I mean,
Yeah.
red deer are something else.
Yeah.
I actually, for the longest time, I wondered what, physically was the difference between the species because I'd seen videos of red deer in Europe and Russia in particular. And I was like, those are elk, but those are not American license plates. I'm confused.
They're like elk with baskets.
Right. They have some physiological differences. Colors are different. Antlers are a little different.
Difference is
but-
hard to tell in a shitty quality dash cam.
Right. And they both have the same scientific name, Cervus elephas.
Service elephants. Interesting.
Circus elephants?
Okay.
Hey, you said it, not me.
Show.
Yeah, if-
It's like a service elevator, but it's an elephant.
Hannibal would be so proud.
Anyway, moving on. Where are we going with that?
I don't know.
I don't
Service
remember where we
elephants.
started.
No, something about the sound. You were talking about the sounds of how the red deer evolved
It's a
their
roar.
grunts
Right.
to get
Yeah.
through the wooded environments. And I wanted to point out I couldn't tell the visual differences from the shitty dash cams, and that's a great example of
It's the
evolution,
difference.
honestly.
It's the difference in frequency. That whistle's a much higher frequency, so it's going to travel nice line of sight in a straight line. That roar is going to be a lower frequency, which is going to do a better job cutting through brush and all that kinds of fun stuff.
Mhm.
And it's also going to bounce off of mountainsides easier and yada yada yada. Basically, it's just giant ungulates with radios in their heads.
Did you know that they call moose in Europe? They call them elk.
I actually did know that.
Really?
I
In
did not know
Scandinavia. Yeah.
And I
know
knew that because I played the Elder Scrolls Skyrim, and they kept calling all these dumb moose elk in the game. I was like, that is not an elk, that's a moose. And then I
Well-
figured it out.
The reason is because when all the Europeans came over to this continent, they saw a big antlered animal, and they're like, "Hey, look, an elk."
Then later, someone's like, wait a minute.
Instead of, hey, look, a red deer.
Right.
Or no, they saw a moose and was like, "Oh god damn!"
So the name moose is actually like I think it's an Algonquin word. I don't know what it means, but yeah,
I don't know what Algonquin means. let alone-
Algonquin was a tribe.
Yes, that was
That's a tribe that got extincted.
by the federal government.
Yes.
Because the federal government said no.
I think,
Yeah.
wow, Wikipedia has the saddest looking. I mean, it's not the saddest looking picture of a moose, but
So the answer to my
Bye,
question is yes, they've done
YouTube.
it to people.
To be fair, the European moose is actually it's smaller than the North American moose. The 4 varieties of moose in North America? Or am I thinking of something else?
Well, is it the majestic moose?
I can't
I
remember
think
if
it's
there's
I think
three or
it's
four.
3. I think it's the Shiras, which is what we
Yep.
have here in Colorado,
Mhm.
Uh-huh.
the Yukon,
Yukon.
and the Canadian.
Okay.
I would just like to
That
point
sounds
out
right.
that if you go to moose on Wikipedia and you look at derived terms, it includes moose knuckle. And,
Can
Yeah.
I just
Look at
say
that.
how cool
Yes.
a coos moose would be? A coos deer, but coos moose.
moose knuckle.
Like a desert dwelling moose.
Yeah, just smaller.
I kind of
Looks
have
like a
some of those
moose.
in my district.
Looks like a moose. Talks like a moose.
That's a coos moose. Don't shoot that. It's not legal. It's got to be a Shiras.
boy.
I
All
was
right,
looking
if you
on,
could go ahead, Vince.
we were talking. You were mentioning it. I was looking on the Texas Department of Wildlife. There is nothing in here under game animals, other animals, or non-game animals that mentions elk.
So
Interesting.
it probably is they definitely and they fall under that exotic species.
I
Which
think they
exotic is
do.
all- yeah, it's all
Racking my
private
brain.
land. Anything that lives here, if you have the money, you can shoot it.
Well, considering Texas has no private land,
Like, I'm
which you
surprised-
guys may have mentioned while I was gone, but
You mean no
No,
public?
they have no public
no,
land.
you're right. Yeah, no public
Like,
land. Sorry.
I'm honestly surprised you can't like hunt children on a private tag in Texas because that exotic tag literally does pretty much include anything that you can.
That's Rio
no,
Grande
Epstein had
County's
the
only.
Epstein had the lock on that for a while, but then he got caught. Sure, it's somewhere else now.
Vince, I think you're more on the line where I was thinking.
It's probably less
That
bad
one
than mine.
specific line.
Yep, there's one specific line where it may or may not. But never mind. Never mind.
Moving on.
I think there's a 100-mile buffer zone. Is that right?
You mean between the Koreas?
Never mind.
Yeah, let's move on. Moving on.
Anyway,
Yeah, sure.
In Minecraft or something.
What else you guys got?
If you could hunt any type of dinosaur, what would you hunt?
T-Rex.
And
And-
with what?
Yes,
I would and it'd probably be with a double rifle. But
Ooh, what
I
double
would
rifle?
sure as hell not bring just 2 rounds to the island with me. So when you go click, you go, oh shit, I'm out of rounds.
And you find
Nor
out
would you let the hippy dippy reporter get anywhere near your gun
you find
ever.
that so when you find out that the Greenpeace asshole unloaded your casing, that way you can go, oh, no big deal.
I've got 14 more. It's fine. Ka-chunk.
Right.
Bang.
14, talk more like 1,400. Like,
All right.
I know
if
that
you've got
stuff's, you know,
1,400
$20.
of those, like, what caliber was that?
It's like 500 Nitro Express. But the point is, they're probably going to pay you for it. If they're paying this much for it, they can afford to buy that much ammo for me. We're gonna
Right. So he wanders around that entire island with 2 rounds.
Yeah. He's not a
Two.
very good big game
Never
hunter.
once opens it up.
Yeah.
No.
Looks
Doesn't
in there.
check. Nope, it's still loaded. I know it's loaded.
Well, he does. I
So-
think yoink the empty casings. So I think it's implied that the Greenpeace dude, managed to pull the bullets out.
But
And I want to know if
obviously
he
it's
was
just the
carrying a
powder, but-
bullet puller with him as he went. But,
Right.
Why would
But he did have that-
Greenpeace dude, why would he pull
he's
the bullets
hippie.
out of the actual casing? Why not just take the rounds out?
I think the idea
So that
was
when
that
he
when he did crack
cracked it open to check it, yeah,
he could see. Oh, there's a case
you
head.
still
and a
see
case head.
brass.
I don't even know.
For
That's not even
for a
what I
positive
thought.
brass check.
Look, this
When I
could've
first
been-
saw that, I thought, like, did he just have random brass laying around that he replaced the guy's actual ammunition with in there? It never occurred to me that he pulled the projectiles out of the casings.
Even when he just like took the handful of the 2 bullets and just like dumped them on his lap.
Here's a question.
And it's been 20
When he
years.
cracks that rifle open to check his shells, his 2 shells that he brought to the island,
yeah.
does anybody remember if there were primer strikes on them?
Well, no, but I mean, hang
There
on.
were not. It was clicks.
If we go share
Why,
screen,
why would it go click? It should have gone pop.
If there
Sure
should, yeah,
thing.
they still had primers,
scene from the movie, empty brass,
right?
giant mold.
Uh-huh. Okay.
Right. So show me the primers.
Shiny head.
Well, they didn't show the primers.
Yeah,
I'm still
no,
sharing screen. Am I
He
still-
cracks it open and he pulls them out.
Okay, the point is he wants a 600 Nitro Express CRC double rifle. Got it, but with more than 2 rounds. This is smart.
Yeah, that's fair.
I can't remember
Alright.
what I said I would hunt. It wasn't a T-Rex though.
All right, pick something else while Vince talks.
I am all over a
remember you-
Triceratops.
Yeah, because
With-
they're slow moving, you can actually hit it.
like he makes
Much
fun of
like
me
elk.
in my shooting, but like he likes.
Bitch, I've
shooting
seen you
slow
shoot an antelope. At antelope, not shoot.
They're hard to
an
hit.
Antelope. Exactly.
So I don't do that. anymore.
Triceratops, slow moving,
Oh, I
large,
think that was
lots of meat.
Stegosaurus. Lots of meat, and then you can have like
Okay, and there's the guy with the Stegosaurus moving
I'm
at
not
5
sure I-
mile an hour.
I'm not sure
Hey.
I actually answered this question.
Oh, well, I don't think we've ever actually asked you.
I don't think so either.
I don't think we ever actually cared, Vince.
I care.
I care, Vince. I care.
No, I'm
Fuck
still
Mike.
thinking.
Do you think like a pteranodon or something would just be like a really big sandhill crane?
I was genuine.
I'm
no, I
wondering.
don't. And
No.
here's why. I was actually what I would want to hunt would be one of the birds. And no, I don't think they would taste like sandhill crane. I think they would taste probably more like merganser, Jeff, because they were fish
Aw.
eating. That's all they ate was fish.
No, maybe
So they would
Maybe.
definitely taste like mergs.
maybe they taste more like alligator, and you're missing out on something.
Ooh, gator.
That's a good point.
Fishy chicken.
Maybe, honestly, yeah, they could have had a lot of fat on them.
It all
Not much
depends
given
on
the weather, but
Are- Are we
Um,
hunting these? Like, are we getting in a time machine and going back, or are we like Jurassic Parking them to the future? Because I
To
don't
the
want to use a
future.
shotgun to hunt one of the
the
flying
future.
ones. I want to use like an AR-10
Mhm.
because I think that'd be way more fun.
Oh,
But that'd
No,
be
like-
hard to get away with.
Could you
If
imagine
there was
the
a dinosaur-
importees bringing them back from the past? That'd be outrageous.
yeah, right. Like,
If
imagine going to customs. Where did you get this? I think the correct question is when. And the customs officer just looks at you like, "What is wrong with you?"
It's
Like,
I don't
was
get
it
paid enough for
yesterday?
this.
$16
gloves,
an
we just
hour ain't
took this
enough,
one.
man.
Can you just imagine how cool a Triceratops mount would be? Like a Euro mount?
Dude,
Oh no,
wouldn't that
I would
take up,
definitely
like, your
get a
entire wall?
full-size Tyrannosaurus mount.
Again,
That's what
A
it
your
would
full-size
entire wall.
Tyrannosaurus mount.
You
You're gonna
know
have
how
to buy
big
a
the
shop.
T-Rex skull in the
Hey,
Denver
if
History
I can
Museum is.
afford a Tyrannosaurus hunt, I can afford a house
Oh,
that could
true.
just fit that.
True. I will build a
Yeah.
house to house this mount.
Yeah, you're right. This is my Tyrannosaurhouse.
Here's the question: you might
Tyrannosaurhouse
have
is going down.
a little bit more difficulty breathing though, because CO2 levels back then were 2,000 parts per million versus now they're like 412.
Yeah, but they.
I can afford
saying.
oxygen.
There you go.
It was also a lot more oxygenated back then too.
I'm just saying, like, these are other considerations for going back in time. Actually, if I could go back in time, I'd rather hunt a mammoth, I think. But if you did, you're gonna have to make
That'd be
taking.
Well, me
Take
too.
some-
That's what I would really want to go.
I
Hunt.
mean, yeah, mammoth, because then you have the Euro mount, and also imagine like your entire living room is just the rug.
What do you think the best tasting past extinct species would have been?
Mammoth, because I'm obsessed.
Okay, but have you ever eaten elephant? Because I have
I'm
not.
going
and
to. Anyway,
So that derailed literally
apparently
everything.
elephant meat is thought to taste similar to beef or veal. Why is it every meat on the planet they always say, it tastes like beef?
Well, our
Camel.
grandparents told us that hippo tasted like beef.
I'm just trying to look up
They
what
would
a
know.
fully mounted, like full body mount of an elephant costs to try and get an idea of how much a full body mount of a Tyrannosaurus Rex would cost. And I'm not,
So like 10 times that.
I don't know. I'm seeing like $90,000.
My God.
Hey, wait a minute. We can afford it if we're doing this in the first place.
Oh, fucking let's go hunt. You're gonna pay for a mount.
Just write
between
that off as a
25
business
and
expense.
110,000.
So what was your
Guys,
profit loss statement? Well, our profit was about $20 and we lost about 90,000.
God.
I feel like
then the
that
cost of the
guy
hunt.
off of we are the Millers. You guys got $20?
Oh,
God,
I'm on
your
I'm on
podcast
No, we
budget is
Yeah.
whatever Dave has in a pile of Keystone cans ready for recycling.
Bro, I got like $7 here.
hang on.
And I'm not in Michigan.
I'm at Dave's high-end taxidermy.
Oh, yeah.
DavidButts.com.
Ooh.
A full body elephant mount is $110,000.
Jesus Christ.
That checks out. Yeah, I don't do it for under 110.
I'm pretty sure it'd be cheaper just to steal one from the zoo.
Hefe, do you recall what it costs to shoot an elephant?
It's probably somewhere between $50,000 and
30 and
$100,000.
40. Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you can spend $100,000 on shooting an elephant, you can spend $100,000 on your full body mount and stick it in the front door of your fucking mansion if you want to.
Average cost is 40 to 45K. So there
Sounds
you go.
about right.
There you
but
go.
For a cold cow. Not even a big ass bull elephant. Just like some unicorn elephant.
Just some.
Look, that
yeah,
one's
you can shoot an
90,000
elephant.
years old. She's got pneumonia. She's about to die anyway. Shoot her for $100,000.
All right. Next question.
Sure.
Oh. I have a
How
question.
are they? Okay.
I don't think I
Yeah,
answered
Dave-
my dinosaur question.
Oh, yes, Vince.
Yeah, hurry up, Vince.
I don't know. I really don't.
Oh, well,
Velociraptor,
Triceratops
but I'm
for the
going to
win.
use archery.
This is a great answer.
Oh, you were the most hunter of all of us.
I would be tempted to archery that Tyrannosaurus if I had someone backing me up with a rifle.
Dude, archering pteranodons could be a lot of fun.
And enough arrows, too.
They archery pheasant.
I'd
could do-
archery pteranodons.
Vince,
with a
I'm sorry
crossbow,
to
though.
say that a pheasant is a little bit different than a Tyrannosaurus Rex.
Whatever. Different arrows, different
Look,
bows.
tastes like chicken.
Aim for
It's
the eye.
that judo point.
Like the ones from the Two Towers. That's what you would use.
Oh,
The ones
God.
that go
Mhm.
up and over the walls of Helm's Deep.
Jeez.
I'd be that one guy who's shaking.
Still only counts as one.
The old
Disco
dude with
Gimli.
one eye and just lets one loose.
Theoden's like, hold! And the guy's like,
Sorry.
My bad.
but he's like, I was
Hey,
looking
it's
around
a
with the
name.
device. It's more like this.
For
For
those
the
that
audio
can't see,
podcast, I covered an eye.
One eye's
Yeah.
looking for you. The other one's long gone.
no.
Anyway, Dave,
Reference
you had a
to-
question.
So, burning question. Initiative 91. Ban on
Yes.
cat hunting.
Yeah.
Where doth thine stand?
Well, my assumption is going. I'm going to have to head this off. My assumption is he can't talk about it at all until it either passes or doesn't.
Bro.
Because,
Yep.
it unfortunately
that's
it's a voter issue again, and
Oh, it's a voter issue, but
which
as
is
a citizen of Colorado, I mean, yeah, I'm not going to pressure you. I'm not going to put any sorts of pressure on you, but I just think that it is blasphemy that people that I saw the article today that said ballot box biology, and I was like, son of a bitch, it is that they're voting by their feelings. Like, cats are not endangered, correct? Lynx are. Canada lynx technically are endangered, right?
Correct.
Okay. Bobcat and mountain lion are not. We have a healthy population in Colorado, correct?
Correct.
Okay. So there is no reason why this should ever hit the
look,
ballot.
We don't need to go
So,
down the road with him because he
okay,
can't
yeah,
answer.
no,
but
no,
Dave,
I will.
no,
I will
no,
just
no.
say, Dave, I do apologize. I can say correct on those questions, but I mean,
Yeah, no,
I literally
no.
Dave,
have to
This
take
is
a neutral
understand.
stance.
this is also not a new thing. This has been going on since like
I know.
1992 and 1994 or 6. So anyway,
96.
96.
So how do you feel about dropping Colorado wolves by the border so they can get shot in Wyoming?
Excellent segue.
far lighter topic.
No,
Jesus.
no. Bad fence.
No, I would assume something I learned about leadership recently is when you're hearing complaints about people above you, you just have to say I hear you. You can't agree with them.
We're moving
you-
on.
I know. That's what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah.
Jeff can't say anything other than I hear your complaints. There's
We're-
nothing he can do. There's nothing we can do. We just have to do what we
And-
can in our podcast and spread the awareness as we best can. So let's ask him questions he can answer.
I agree.
How so because of last winter, the herds didn't do very well. How are they doing now? Like, this was a pretty mild winter for us, at least. I don't know how it was for you up there.
They were a lot better. It was definitely a mild winter up here. Did not want to see a winter like we had last winter. That was hell on earth. Really, it was.
Yeah.
But they are doing better, and I mean, but the herds still have some time to come back.
And what is that time frame?
It really
Ish.
depends on the future. Ish, it's probably say between 4 and 7 years.
My guess would have been 5 to 10. So that's
And that's just
decent
kind of
guess, I
me
suppose.
coming up with it. I mean, we had good calf recruitment from this year. And and we just need to, if we can keep it up next winter, that'd be great.
What do you mean by calf recruitment? Did you get a bunch of kids into CPW or?
Yes, that's what that means.
Genuinely, I'm being a smartass, but I genuinely
that's leg
don't know
day.
what it means.
Leg day.
Nice.
When I talk about recruitment, it means the calves that survive until the next year.
Okay.
So when you have low calf recruitment, people really especially notice this with deer. When you have low fawn recruitment, that means you're missing an age class, like because you're not going to have a mature buck is going to be 3.5 to 6.5 years old. So say 4.5 years old. In 3.5 to 4.5 years, you're going to have very few mature bucks on the ground because of that age class that you're missing.
Mm-hmm.
So that's when people really talk about, well, you don't have any bucks and you're managing it bad. And well, no, it's because we had a hard winter 4 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, people only see what's right in
No,
front of them. They
it's-
don't take
it's
anything
your
else
fault,
into
sir.
consideration. Yeah, exactly. It's the wildlife manager's fault.
Personally yours. So would it help
Like-
if we went to Wyoming and kidnapped some mule deer?
No, because they died too.
Son of a bitch.
I shouldn't
Dang it.
laugh, but damn.
Utah?
New Mexico.
You know what?
We'll
Leave
just
him
go
there.
down and take all the goose deer. Leave them out by Dave. All right.
Coos deer, Keensburg. It's like, what the fuck is this? Small
So when
little
you-
whitetail.
When you talk 4 to 7 years, are you talking 4 to 7 years for the populations to rebuild themselves to prior to last winter, or
Right.
rebuild themselves to huntable levels to where the public can? Because I'm not asking for hunting questions, but it is. I mean, it is down the line. It's something that's going to be part of their lives again, part of our lives again. Obviously, we
Mhm.
got to sit back and let them rebuild, but
Right.
um,
So what it is that we have our population objectives that you were looking at in our management plans that we have, the DAUs.
right.
And the population objective we have for the elk up here in Craig is between 15 and 18,000. Currently, we're sitting at probably around. I'd say you can't quote me, but we're on a podcast. But
Like it's not official.
it's roughly about, I'd say, 11,000 elk that we have. So we're 4,000 elk below our lower end of our population objective.
Oof.
So we took a hit. Like we took a big hit.
And those are
we
the
were
hardy animals.
right, and we were sitting at probably just over 18,000 before going into last winter. So we lost a lot of animals.
If you were at
Actually-
18,000 and you're at 11,000 now, that's 40% drop
Yep.
ish.
So
How's your coyote population doing?
I think they sat fat and happy last winter.
I was about to say, I mean, your coyote population ought to be a little bit higher.
Right.
So
But
if you're in Craig,
Go murder those coyotes. They'll be
so as long as we're below our objective, the lower end of our objective range, we're going to be sitting at minimums for cow tags because obviously cows are the money or the baby makers. And once we get into our population objective range, then we're going to start issuing more cow tags so as to keep them where they're at.
That makes sense. Keep the population where you want it.
Right.
How do the wolves factor into that? Do you just let the wolves do their thing as nature does and just keep counting the populations and just keep working at as just another variable.
Yep, that's all we can do.
All right.
Do you have wolves in your district?
Not that I know of.
Okay.
I did have
I was
wolves
just
in my
curious.
district 4 years ago, and I can say that. I mean, this was public information. Was released not too long ago. We did have wolves in Moffat County from the ones that they released
Mm-hmm.
not too long ago. So, but it wasn't in my district. It was far away from my district. It was in the lower southeast portion of Moffat County.
Gotcha. I was
Do
just
you have-
curious.
Do you have any runaway huskies in your district?
Have they been skinned and posted on Facebook?
That just went through my head remembering that because I was wondering, what if that lady went to jail at all? Probably not.
I think she did. I don't know. Well, I don't know. She got arrested for it for sure, and she
I know
did
she
face
got
charges. I
charged,
don't know if
but
she
I
actually
don't-
did time.
And I don't care enough to actually go look. It was just,
Right.
you know,
Yeah.
it's like,
yeah, but it was like a cruelty to animals charge, which I don't see how that could stick.
I mean,
No, I remember hearing some things about it, and I don't think anything actually ever came of it.
probably not, but should just
Because
charge
those,
an idiot.
from what I heard, the story was that it was a bunch of puppies like that were dumped off in the wilderness. So whoever dumped them off in the wilderness should be getting the cruelty charges.
right.
And she misidentifies something she shoots at. But I don't think anything came of it.
Like, honestly, how cruel is it to shoot a puppy with a rifle? It's pretty quick death, actually.
And one that's been starving in the wilderness
Right.
for
And-
God knows how long.
They all had that disease that I don't remember what it's called, but
Lead
it's common
poisoning?
with. No, just one of them got that.
No,
They're
Um,
lead deficient.
When you change foods on a dog, just abruptly, it can cause
Oh, they
bacteria
get-
nonsense in their
you mean they
tummy.
get the shits?
Yes,
Yeah.
they all had that disease, so they had been dumped out there. I do remember that from the article. I don't know why, but it's not like it was a fatal disease. It was just their gut was adjusting to their new diet.
Oh, and it's
Yeah.
not like she started skinning them first.
Right.
For those that don't know,
She wasn't Cruella de Vil.
That we
Yeah,
know
she
of.
wasn't after a coat.
Though she had the opportunity.
Yeah, there was 22 of them. She could have had a nice coat, although she might have needed more.
for those that don't know, it was a picture posted on Facebook or social media that was a gal with a skinned out husky in the bed of a pickup that she claimed that she had shot a wolf pup. And it was definitely not a wolf pup. But I've heard it was aggressive dog. I heard what has been talked about here in the past 30 seconds. But that's what we're talking about.
Was that eat moose, wear wolf?
So here's a point, or here's a learning lesson. Do not post things like that on social media.
So my Facebook getting hacked and the things that have come
By
up
your
from
hairy
that-
thumb.
Yeah, you did.
What? Haji trying to get money from me?
Oh no, it's better than that, dude. Apparently, the dude, whoever hacked me, used AI to create a fake image of me and then posted it as my profile picture. And it's not all right.
I
It's
didn't know
fantastic.
you were a 40-year-old, like, you know.
Well, you knew I was 40. Let's be clear.
Okay, I do that part. I
You
guess.
didn't know
Its
I was.
name is Phil, but goes by Felicia.
And I just want to say bye, Felicia. It's bad, dude. We're
Mike
like-
as Felicia. That should be a show title.
Unfortunately, tonight's show title's already been fixed for like months. Because it was Fish Squeezer, Fish Squeezer
Return
Strikes
of the
Back,
Fish
Return of the Fish Squeezer. Eventually it'll be Phantom Fish Squeezer, Attack of the Fish Squeezer, and
It's so good to
Revenge of
dream.
the
It's
Fish
like the
Squeezer.
lottery.
The Last Fish Squeezer.
no, we're not doing any of those ones.
Rise of the Fish Squeezer.
We can maybe do like Rogue Fish Squeezer and like Solo Fish Squeezer, but we're not touching the sequel trilogy. That was
Solo Squeezer.
terrible.
It would
Solo
have to be
Squeezer.
Solo Squeezer.
That one might require a little nuance, but it'll be fine.
Actually, you know what? We'll just have
We're
Jeff
moving
do an
on.
episode all
We don't
by
need-
himself, and he doesn't talk to anybody or anything. It just is
Oh no!
a show all by him, and it'll be Solo Squeezer. All right,
That's
Jeffrey, you
terrible.
ready? Shit.
Nobody else can see this. You don't want to see.
So you are a 50-year-old woman?
Portuguese woman.
I'm fairly
Oh,
certain that
that's
whatever
rough,
this is
'cause they
was
are
also on
Portuguese.
Joe Biden's staff in an admiral's costume.
Oh boy.
Oh,
It's very similar.
She
I'm
looks
so
like she
confused.
wears Mickey Mouse ears at Walmart.
and goes by
Mike
Karen.
Mike and his stolen valor.
She's the only one that would steal that valor.
God damn.
Fuck, man. So yeah, I got a new
Awesome.
Facebook, and I added the people that mean something to me, and other people that do mean something to me, and I've forgotten exist.
Yeah, and right now they're trying to figure out why you're trying to sell a bunch of like Denali's and other random assortments from
Mhm.
your parents' garage.
Or a 2018 Honda Accord for $1,500.
Oh yeah, I remember that one too.
Yeah.
Look, it doesn't
It just
help
needs to
that
be a
you're
quick
selling
sale.
rims too.
Dude, the
I'm
fact
not
that
selling
you're,
rims. I already sold them.
Mike.
you're selling parts of your Porsche. It looks like you're trying to get rid of a crime scene.
I mean, no comment.
Technically, they're parts of someone else's Porsche that I bought.
So it's yours?
Possession, right?
Right, yeah.
9/10 of the law.
Oh, it's not mine. I just paid for it. And now I'm scrapping it.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
It's
That's
still
not what I.
his.
That's how it came out. It's not what I meant. That's how it came out.
It's a tax
Fish
dodge.
squeezer.
So
I
you
have a
literally have somebody else's Porsche that you're selling the parts off of.
No,
So
I
you're
bought
a
a
chop
parts
shop
car,
now.
and when I say it wasn't my Porsche, it wasn't Mouse. They're not Mouse
Okay.
parts. That's what I meant.
Anyway, Dave, you had a question.
What'd you put in for big game this year?
I
Yeah.
have not put in yet.
What do you
I'm
want?
mad.
I
You
don't
can
know.
be like me and wait for the last minute.
Yeah, that's what I do.
For what it's worth, Dad might be in to hunt muleys with us if you are also in. I know it's quite the haul
That's
for
more
you
people.
just for a deer, but
There's not going to be any deer down there because everybody I talked to is talking about going down by Springfield.
I have
Like the
Why?
word
4
is out.
points. I have 4 points for deer.
oh god, don't
Um,
waste
Yeah.
them down here.
yeah,
Yeah,
no, don't do
and
that.
I vowed to myself I'd never shoot another mule deer doe again.
Well, you could get a buck tag for 1 point, but yeah, don't waste 4
No,
points
no.
on. No, don't.
Yeah, well,
Absolutely not.
No.
Waste those and then come down.
That's the smaller. Can you see it?
Barely. But then again, my window is very small.
That looks like a chicken.
You're a chicken.
Do we have the deer or the goose?
That is a
Both?
goose.
We have the goose.
Some of a deer. That's a
Okay.
turkey.
We
There we
can
go.
see deer.
That's the smaller of the deer that I've got.
Now that's a woman. That's a house. That's a cup. That's a car.
Seeing the taxidermy goose reminds me of the poor guy down in Texas who called his taxidermist from last year who was like, "Oh, that's a federal bird. I can't do anything with it." Because the weirdo was like, "Hey, can you make me a pointer out of a crane leg?"
Okay, so about the deer.
Yeah, that's the smaller of the two that, or several bucks that I've killed up here, and I don't think I'll be driving half or all the way literally all the way across the state.
Literally the exact opposite end
Yeah.
of the state from you.
Like
Yeah, I
the
looked it up.
longest
Diet-
one.
Where
Diagonally.
is Jeff?
to shoot a doe.
Jeff is top left
Yeah,
corner
no,
of the
I
state.
wouldn't-
Dave is bottom right corner of the state.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I seen it.
I drove
So
up
Vince, just to
there.
give you a little bit of idea, my district is the entire northwest corner of the state. So one of my neighboring officers is in Utah, and my other neighboring officer is in Wyoming.
Mhm.
So that's my district. If you're going to look it up on a map.
So when we had our state truck rodeo, I had to drive from my little ass house 17 miles from Oklahoma all the way up to yo ass to drive a snowplow around a course with a bunch of cones.
Were you allowed to drive in a
was it.
state truck?
Yeah, I was.
So I don't want to hear it.
Yeah. No, yeah. That was the good part. I didn't have to pay for gas.
Yeah.
It was a long fucking drive though.
I'd have some pity for you if you drove your personal rig up here, but
I've done
I
that
didn't
once.
actually know that
Once.
anywhere from anywhere was, or anywhere in Colorado was 8 hours from anywhere else in Colorado. But it turns out
It is.
it's even further.
yeah.
Mhm.
I can make it up to my camping spot.
Like you
in
could
Wyoming.
probably stretch a 10-hour trip from corner to corner.
Yeah, I don't think that'd be hard.
A moderate drive, yeah.
It takes
I
less
mean-
time to drive to Pierre, South Dakota.
If you're getting it, you can make corner to corner at 6.5 if you don't stop. But we stopped. So
if you're getting it, huh?
I was going to ask you about,
Getting
like, what about cops? But you did say if you don't stop, so that makes sense.
If you drive long enough, eventually they run out of gas.
we had a light bar on top.
Don't stop, or you're not.
I mean, what?
You're going to light a brother up? Come on, man. Orange and blue, orange and blue.
No, they're just orange.
I maintain my lights are cooler than Dave's.
Yeah.
I agree. Your lights have the power
You
to make
got
people get out of your way.
Red and blues. I can't plow snow in a fucking ambulance.
And you
I could.
If it's
You
you
could.
could.
Like if you had a 4-wheel drive ambulance, it'd be
Oh,
a
that'd be
pretty
great.
badass
Why
snowplow
wouldn't they put
ambulance.
snow plows on ambulances?
If you get stuck, you can crawl in the back and take a nap.
Yeah.
Ambulances haul way
This is
too
a
much
great
ass for that.
Not anymore. They stopped.
No.
They have you noticed they
Anymore.
started limiting fire trucks and like emergency. Jesus, they started
Emergency.
limiting emergency response speeds because I don't know. Maybe they were getting in too many accidents or whatever. But like an ambulance passes you now in a 45 zone, they're going maybe 50.
That's because they're only supposed to go over 10 mile an hour over the speed limit. That doesn't happen all the time.
I mean, back in the day, I heard they used to be able to go 15, and now it doesn't seem like they're even allowed to speed. They're just going 5 because they're pushing it.
Dude, every time an ambulance passes me, they're to the floor.
As they
You
should
also
be.
have far less people than,
And we have
unfortunately-
far greater area.
yeah.
far greater distances to get people to hospitals.
That's what
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
helicopters
wonder.
are for.
I wonder
It
if any
takes
of
longer
those
to wait for the
speeds-
helicopter than it does to just put it to the floor and get there.
Shit,
I
even
I
with
wonder
for the
if any
floor,
of
the
those-
person will probably die from infection, but by the time they get to the hospital,
Jesus.
Yeah.
You live in bumfuck, Dave. That's what he's saying.
Hey, Jack lives in more bumfuck.
I thought I lived in bumfuck Egypt.
No, he lives in bumfuck,
Yoldy
Australia.
Jack lives
No,
in
that's
fucking
true.
Egypt.
I want to know what Jack calls bumfuck. Does he call it Timbuktu also, or like bumfuck Egypt, or is it bumfuck Russia to him? Like maybe Russia's a different.
I think he just calls it Western Australia.
that makes
No.
sense.
He lives in bumfuck. That's fair.
Yeah.
He calls it home.
Mhm.
Poor guy.
He calls
There's actually
Oh,
a
Poor
point
guy.
when I've been driving in my district and running to an emergency call, and I have my lights on, and I realize, why are my lights on?
There's no one out there.
No,
It makes it
Yeah.
official.
Oh, look, oncoming
one car you
traffic, turn
see
the
you
lights
flipping
on.
on.
And
It's
oncoming traffic's like, oh no, he's pulling me over. And then you pass him, and by the
It's-
time you're out of eye shot,
when
the
you-
lights are off, and they're like, I'm so confused.
You
It's
don't
mood
turn the
lighting.
lights off. You don't turn the lights off. You just turn the rave music on.
Mhm.
That's fair. Can you
Boots and pants,
time?
boots
Can
and
you
pants,
sync the
boots and
lights to the base? Does your app have that little dealy do?
What app? What app
app
are you
you used-
talking?
The app you use to run your lights. Like, isn't it like Police Light Pro
know
or
the
some dumb
thing.
shit
It
like
just-
that?
Blinks
It's a
red really
button
fast,
in my truck.
Like it has,
and then
It's a switch.
the blue
Like
is
you
the
can-
drop.
it has a little circle, and if you want to have like more greenish tint on the left side, you can like
I
pop it
think the
over that
really
way.
short answer to this is no.
Mhm.
Mike's over here
Lame.
like, so I dreamt of being a cop because you could like control all the lights, and everyone else like, nah, dude, it's a button.
For the 100% record, I know exactly how they're controlled
Then why are you talking about an app?
because it was funny to make him twitch.
Whatever.
I only twitch because I'm like, what app?
There's
Exactly.
this mean brother coming out again.
Ugh.
Jeff's like, wait a
Back
minute.
in my
and this
day,
app?
you had to push the buttons in sequence to make them flash right.
Well, now we sign into our app, and then we have to make sure we get. Never mind.
Oh,
Dude,
I'm
back
out.
in my day, we had to
Sure,
look at
damn
our
it.
phone to unlock it.
dear gummit. We didn't pay for the subscription. We can't get in the app to turn the lights on.
Drive the speed limit, boys.
You guys joke. I have to do a pre-trip in an app.
That's because you work for CDOT.
Yep. You work for the government. This is what you have to deal with. Government
Yeah.
nonsense.
You
I
work for
also
Chicken
totally
Depot.
do it every time.
Totally.
All right.
100%. Every single time, I'm sure.
So did we plow through all the important questions?
Yeah. Anyway, any other
I wanna-
hunting related questions? I mean,
I want to hear a really good duck story or several.
I have a
Oh,
question
okay.
if you'd like.
oh sure, go ahead, Vince.
So this is about the only question I have because I'm the out of stater here.
Mhm.
But if I wanted to go up to Colorado and I wanted to hunt elk, what's my best bet of doing that and actually getting to go hunt?
Like, you can
Uh,
go hunt.
Right. So we have our over-the-counter tags that are available in certain units, or they're available in all the units that are applicable. And do your homework, scout, find some areas that are good, and get off the road.
Yeah.
Are those public land tags or private land, or
We-
is there
We have a
difference
ton of
there?
public land tags or public land in Colorado.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you can pick up an over-the-counter tag, look at our brochure, and figure out which of those tags or which of those units you can hunt.
But
Are
Vince,
there over-the-counter rifle tags?
Yep.
Yeah, I was just about to bring it up, Vince. The elk tags in Dave's area, they actually will afford a decent chance of getting an elk. We just haven't gotten around
Decent
to
chance, really?
when you can call
okay,
them in
I will-
September during the rut with the.
I'll,
if you
I'll-
can find
that's-
them.
I'll pipe
It's a
in
better
here.
chance than not chance.
yeah, let Dave talk.
I'll pipe in here. So, what I hunt on is the Colorado Plains elk tag, and it's from September 2nd to the end of January. So it's 5 months continuous rifle tag, either sex. That said, there's like 450 elk on the southeastern quadrant of Colorado. So your chances are not
Total.
great. Total. In the southeastern quadrant that I know of for sure. So we have some public land. We don't have near the public land that the mountain ranges do. But there is the Comanche National Grassland, and that is what I hunt on. That's where I killed my bull on. My bull got pushed out of the canyons off of private ground because it was so fucking dry that they were looking for something to eat or some water or something. I don't know. They just happened to be running through my backyard. And so I shot my bull. But they're not plentiful. I will show you elk. If you come down here, I will show you elk because I will find them and they will be on the private ground in the canyons. So the Plains elk tag is it's great to have in your pocket just in case that one situation like what I had happens. It's like, oh shit, yeah, they're on the grasslands. I got a tag. I'm gonna shoot it. That's exactly what happened with me. But you don't have near the chances like you do going up to Moffat County, Chaffee County, any of those mountainous regions where elk are plentiful, where
But
you
if
can
you
also
have-
get an over-the-counter tag.
If you have access to that private land, you can hunt them there as well.
You can
Okay.
with
You're
the
gonna pay
trespass fee.
for it.
Right.
So
what
trespass
I
fee
was
for
trying to
elk
You were
is
say,
making
like
the distinction, and I
$7,500.
wanted to make sure.
Yeah,
what I was trying
I'm
to
not going
say
to pay
is
for
that
that.
I have
just saying, but
I haven't been elk hunting as much as Squeezer or Dave has. However, I have been elk hunting since I came back from Japan every year, and I have gotten one single elk. I've learned a lot from that. I've learned a lot that I wish I could apply. There is ulterior motive to my questioning about when the herds are going to be ready for hunting again, because there's things I want to try up there, like going into the state park on foot and hiking in and going to them and getting away from the roads and away from the BLM where everybody is. But that's a question of snow and accessibility and all that. But definitely
And-
questions for another time.
and
What I
real
was
quick,
trying
Mike.
to say is, all right, go ahead.
To expand on your point, where it is such an early season for the Plains elk, you can call elk down here. So the rut is still happening when it's rifle season for the Plains elk. So you can call elk. I haven't done it, but you can. So
And that was-
it's
That's where I was going. Like, you can't call elk. I mean, I suppose you can. I really don't know. I don't know that much about hunting them in rifle season. I know that it's easier to call them during archery season because that is during the rut, and that's
Mhm.
how you get them close. That's how you get them to walk within 20 yards of you. That's why I say it's a decent chance. No, the numbers, I never was trying to say I wasn't trying to misinterpret it and say the numbers were plentiful down there. There's tons of animals. They're everywhere. No, I was just trying to say that with
it's an
the
option.
lack of animals and the ability to call them going down into the canyon and on the public ground, it's a decent chance you might get something. It's also a decent chance you might get nothing. I've been getting nothing for basically 6 years, aside from the one extremely lucky, amazing hunt I had with the Squeezer. And so, like, in my opinion, you go and you get nothing. What am I missing?
Yeah.
You know,
In Vince's case, $750.
that's a very, very good point.
Okay.
And on that, I will be right back. Gotta run out the room real quick, and you guys talk
After
amongst
these
yourselves.
messages.
Yep.
Same.
Well, the problem is my
We'll be
question was for
right-
Jeff. And he's leaving.
Sucker. Yeah. I didn't want to misrepresent it. I just thought that in my mind, going down with a rifle in September offers a better, decent chance of even seeing something and having some fun than
I mean,
what I've
sure,
been doing in the
if
past.
you live in Colorado, from Vince's point of view, that's a $750 tag.
Right. Again, I
and that's just
again,
the tag.
Yeah.
you've got to travel. It's 8 hours just to Springfield, probably.
That's
I
about right.
definitely was not recommending it as a super viable option, but it is an option. And to be fair, without preference points, you're probably going to be just as successful anywhere else. I'll wait for Squeezer to come back, but if you do want to hunt, if you do want a solid elk hunt, what you should be doing is applying for preference points every year and stacking those up, so when you're ready, you can come out and you'll have the points for the area you want.
Leadville.
I'm hoping that I draw the Oklahoma tag before I'm old and decrepit, but we'll see.
decrepit and old.
I mean, if you saved it up and did it as like a dream hunt, and it'd be pretty cool. But
Yeah, but his dream hunt is going to be my dream hunt because I'm going to drag his ass up to Alaska to hunt caribou. Right, Vince?
Thought it was grizzly bear.
¿Por qué no los dos?
no, Sam's gonna hunt grizzly bear. You're just going.
I mean,
You're not
actually,
coming back. You're just going.
we can meet in the middle and go moose. Like we can hunt the horned murder cow.
That's true.
All right, Jeff. I was real quick before you ask your question, Sam. I was making the point to Vince that, like, if he wants a solid elk hunt here, he needs to start applying for preference points, and
Right.
because like what I'm suggesting, I said it already, but what I suggested isn't a super viable option, but it is an option. But he's also going to have the same amount of success with any other just I bought this tag, just like the 4th season tag up there. It's hit or miss, and it's going to be a lot of miss. So you don't want to spend $700 on a miss. You want to get some preference points. And
But here's the problem: is that you look at down there in southeast Colorado, it is almost all private land. There is some public land where the elk hang out on. You have a much lower population, whereas up on the forest, up in the over-the-counter units where you can go and just buy a tag and go hunt on the forest, you can actually get on public ground, go to where the elk are at, and they have a much higher population there. So if you're going to come up to Colorado to hunt elk, I would never suggest the Eastern Plains for it because of that private land aspect, the low population aspect. For Vince, it would be a convenience aspect because it's closer to him. But if you really want to get an elk, you're going to want to go into those mountainous areas.
what about the area just east of Trinidad that's not counted as the Eastern Plains?
I have no idea about that area.
It's still a draw unit.
Yeah.
I mean, you might as well draw the mountains.
Yeah, that's not counted as a plains tag.
No, that was my point.
143?
Was that it's no the area just east of Trinidad, not 143. It's still a draw unit. I was referencing it because they have a high population of animals in that area specifically, and it's not. I mean, it's like 3 or 4 hours closer to Vince.
Okay.
I mean,
so
you go ahead, Dave.
I was asking Jeff if he knows the viability of that option, and maybe Dave, you do too.
I don't know that unit, so I'll let Dave speak.
yeah, that unit, yes, it is. There are more animals in that area, but it's the same kind of area that I'm in right now. It's the same canyon, pretty well. And yes, there are animals in it. Public ground, not great. So it's
They would say there's no public ground there.
yeah.
I'm not
it's-
talking about the canyon. I'm talking about
No, just east of Trinidad.
Yeah, there's
in
one
between
unit.
Trinidad and Branson.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
one unit
so-
that's not counted in the Eastern Plains tag.
Okay, so that is a draw only unit, right?
Yeah.
The benefit of the Plains elk tag is the length of the season. So it's September 1st through the end of January. You can hunt for 5 months, either sex, with a rifle. That's the benefit of the Plains elk tag. Your chances aren't great, but I will spend $13 a month as a resident to hunt that tag. I have no problem doing that. I do it every year.
Yeah,
That
because it's a
draw
simple matter
only
of like
unit
your
that has-
neighbor calls you and says, "Hey, you got elk."
Yeah,
And Dave, let me ask you a
That
question
is
real
exactly
quick.
what happened.
So you've gotten that tag every year for a long amount of years.
Yeah.
How many elk have you killed on that tag?
1. But
Yep.
I have seen elk. I've seen elk a lot, but they're always on private ground, and it just happened to be that one bull or there was actually two bulls. There was the bull that I killed, and then a spike that was running with them, and they both happened to bust out of some fucking corn circles and got all fucking haywire and that shit, and it ran through my backyard. And I chased them for a little bit, and then let off, called my neighbor because they were on his ground. I was like, "Hey man, you got two bulls on your ground. You got a bull tag?" He's like, "Fuck yeah, I do." So he goes out, tries to shoot him, doesn't get it done. They run back onto grasslands, and that's when my show happened.
Mhm.
But it's few and far between. There are elk down here if you're willing to pay the price. They've killed 7x7 bulls down here.
Mhm.
Like that's fairly common on private ground. That said, if you're willing to pay the price.
Right.
Also, that ground that Mike is talking about east of Trinidad, it's the exact same ground that we're hunting on down here. There's nothing different between the east side of Trinidad and like Kansas at the Cimarron River. It's the same sort of geological system.
Mhm.
It's canyons, it's flatlands, it's the same thing. So that east of Trinidad unit, I would not put in for it. It especially since it's a limited draw unit. It's not an over the counter, it's not a plains elk. I would put in for a better unit, not that one.
Okay.
Pretty much.
Okie dokie.
So, I have one question for Vince, real quick, and then actual questions for Jeff. The question for Vince is: why would you waste your time hunting elk here when you can come up here and hunt beaver with me?
Why would I waste my time hunting beaver up there when I can kill as many beaver as I want here year round?
I know, and use real traps.
Ooh, weird flex.
Ooh.
Anyway,
I thought it was an appropriately timed flex.
so Jeff, with regard to September and elk, what altitude would you say is a good altitude to be hanging around at? Because we saw plenty of elk sign, but we did not, when we saw them around, I can't find the spot now. Where was I at? How many feet was that? Stupid phone. It's not working down here in my basement. But I don't know.
All I'll say is that it all depends on the weather.
We were at
I have-
9,500 feet.
Right. And I've hunted elk on Guanella Pass in the past, and they've been up above timberline. I found them down in the timber. I don't have a great bearing on it right now because all my elk in September, they're in desert country. In the wintertime, they're in desert country. They just live in desert country. So
These ones were living in basically moose country, so that's a little bit different. Yeah.
right. So my advice to elk hunters is if you're not seeing sign, find somewhere else.
We saw plenty of sign. It was just a matter of, I mean, we didn't try calling either, though, because nobody was really confident in their ability to call. So that might
Right.
have to be the changing. Because I mean, we did creep in within. Well, I didn't creep in. Almost stumbled into those. Is that 3 or 4 cows?
Right.
Then he did see. James did see that 6x bull about 129 yards away. So
Right. And I guess my answer is I don't know. There is no set elevation they're going to be at any given time of the year.
but more about the sign then. Find the sign. Got it.
Right. If you're
And
not
the
seeing
weather.
sign, find somewhere else.
There's great. I mean, again, talking about getting off the road, we were seeing elk bedding down spots that were 100 yards off the road. No, actually, they were probably more like 200 yards off the road and 100 yards from our camp. So get off the damn road.
Right.
People trailing up and down 24 hours a day on ATVs. It's like,
So, one of the very few things that I've learned about them is they don't like people very much. They only hang around people when they know they're not going to get shot at by people, like on private
Estes
ground
Park.
or in Estes
Estes
Park
Park.
is a solid example where Jeff and I grew up. Elk love hanging around there. They love hanging around in Larkspur. But they don't,
Private
when
ground.
you're hunting them, they know where they're getting shot at. I've thought they were the smartest of the three that we hunt between pronghorn and deer. I mean, deer are dumber than shit. So they're automatically out. You got to go if they can. If you're where people are, they're not going to be where you are. You got to go. That's Jeff. That's why I brought it up earlier. I wanted to try, and that season happened right when I wanted to try it. Right when I wanted to get a 4th season tag, but I wanted to try going up into the state park, and because that's not where the people are. The people are all on the public ground in like 3, 4, and 5, trying to get the easy kill on the road, and nobody's up in the woods actually looking for them where they probably actually are. I mean, you feel free to shoot my theories down because you're the wildlife expert, but
No, it absolutely, and it's been documented that if you get away from the roads, even a quarter of a mile, you're increasing your chances of getting an elk exponentially. I mean, it's not even that they're just trying to get away from people. They're trying to get away from less people. I've watched elk get shot at on private ground. A bull drops, the herd runs 300 yards away, still on private ground, and just starts milling around.
because they know that one shot was probably all that's coming.
Right. And they're like, all right, well, Frank
We
had
lost
his
Dave.
day, so, yeah.
Hey,
Rip Dave.
Dave's not here.
Dave's dead. I'm not
Dave's
dead.
not here,
Yes, you
man.
are. Shut up.
But yeah, I mean, they go to where there's less pressure.
I mean, all the animals really do that, don't they? I mean,
Yeah, that's why there's deer
Well,
in town. There's
that's why there's deer between Craig and Maybell there used to be on those farms at dusk. There's thousands of them.
Mhm.
They're not getting shot at there.
Right.
So the next question's for Mike. When are you gonna get a bow? When are you gonna get a bow?
I'm not going to get a bow.
you
I
get
can't
crossbow?
draw a bow.
You're right. I
Well, then
can't.
when are you
I-
going to get your disability permit so that you can have a crossbow? Then
Um.
I can take you to where there's elk. I have seen them.
All right. I will do the thing.
They won't be there.
Yeah,
I
because I
mean-
showed up.
One of my intentions is to take a specific e-scouting class over the spring, and then before archery season, I do want to go back up to that same drainage and take a peek around for that exact reason.
Dude, I'm
That way, I'm
into it.
not sitting here going, "It's the spot, it's the spot, it's the spot," and then get up there, day before opening day and go, "Wait a minute, they're all gone."
On my mountain goat hunt, I went and started glassing a basin where a guy who lives in the Gore Range, he told me almost always see goats there. I didn't see any goats.
Of course not, because you were the outsider. The dude always sees goats there because the goats always see him there.
It's
They
that,
saw you before you saw them, and they pieced the hell out of there.
it's that John Travolta meme where he from the one from Pulp Fiction.
Yeah.
where he's going,
Holding his coat.
It's one of
Just
my favorite
confused.
memes. Or gifts, whatever you want to call
GIF.
it.
Yeah, that's true. It's a gift, but
Well, they do both, but they're both my favorite.
Indeed.
all right. Well, I think does that just about cover it? I think it just about covers it.
Any other questions?
Yeah,
You know
we're
what? Yeah, where are the elk? Why'd you shoot all the elk?
Actually, I need to go back. We'll probably do this next week and read the email you sent in regarding my comments about when I was talking about Wyoming feeding. And then if Colorado did that, I need to go back through and actually read that on the show. Because that was a very long and well-detailed email. And
Yeah,
I
it would
ended
be
up
real
missing it.
awkward for him to just sit here and listen to his own email.
It would be a little bit.
Well, I ended up missing it because I missed another important email too. Because around the same time we were trying to figure out Google and YouTube login stuff, and so there's nothing but a block of like a dozen and a half like emails from Google sign in,
Yeah.
Google sign in, YouTube sign in, Google sign in. They got buried
Dude.
inside of there. So I ended up scrolling,
Um,
oh, Jeff emailed us. Oh, damn.
Before
Mike's
we
like,
go,
why are there random numbers in the chat?
1001010101010101010.
Because we're trying to brainwash you.
No. 069 071.
Oh, speaking of 069, that's the episode title. Nice. Or another episode number. Nice.
Nice. Everybody else has a subtle nice, and Dave's like, ah.
Nice.
That's because Dave's the only one with us that has a soul.
Dave is Dave.
I disagree. None
All
of
right.
us have a
No,
soul.
shut up, Ginger.
Before we go, I want to hear one duck story, Jeff. What's your favorite duck story?
Oh, I could piecemeal a couple of little ones real quick. The very first banded bird I ever shot was because our stepmom actually said that she wanted Drake mallard for the wall.
Mhm.
So I was down where I tuned Mike into duck hunting for the winter on the river, and I jumped these ducks, and I was about to shoot a hen because I didn't really care, but I'm like, oh wait, she wanted a drake, so I picked out a drake and I shot the drake, and the drake happened to be banded.
It must be
Nice.
nice to be
Did
able
you-
to like pick your targets and shoot them down instead of just
God
shooting.
damn, Mike.
Yep.
Sorry,
And then one
Camel.
falls.
Just spraying into the sky.
Flying things must shoot.
Did you also have to chase your downed duck around the river for an hour?
I didn't chase it for an hour. God damn it!
Oh, I have
feel like it.
Here, I have a couple quick stories for that, but another good story I have is up here in Moffat County. I was hunting this field, and I was hunting field ducks. It was an oat field, and I convinced myself because of the duck numbers around that I was going to pick out greenheads only. And over here on the western slope, it's Pacific Flyway. I can shoot 7 greenheads, and I was going to pick out greenheads only. Well, here comes this flock in. I think I had 3 already. And so I pop up and I dump one green head. I'm like, boom, there we go. And then I pick out another green head. Boom, there we go. And then the next bird I pull on was a hen. I'm like, oh, I got to go for the triple. So I dumped the hen. So I did get a limit of ducks that day. And it was that hen is sat proudly right on top.
That's awesome.
Some duck stories where I have been retrieving wounded birds. One of them in the spot that I tuned Mike into. I was chasing after this duck all over the place, and finally I saw it literally swimming under the water between my feet, and I said, gloves, no gloves, wet sleeve, whatever be damned. And I just reached right down into the river, probably about a foot down, and grabbed it and pulled it out.
Nice.
Well, you are now the duck squeezer.
The last one I can think of is I jumped a couple of ducks and I shot this one hen, and she disappeared. Had absolutely no idea where she went. I'm like, no, I folded her. I know I got her. She's not swimming away somewhere. And I'm looking around, and then I look, and they were sitting on some ice. I'm like, huh. And I go over, I'm like, and I look at the snow. I'm like, really? I saw a skid mark going to this hole in the ice. I shot her, and she skidded into a hole under the ice. So I'm like, there can't be any way. So I just reached down in that ice and I felt a feather and I pulled her out by her wing.
Jesus.
So in golf, they call that a birdie.
Sounds like
You
a
know
hole in
what?
one
No,
to me,
no,
but-
Sam, go sit in the corner. You're in the same corner as Mike. No, just
Yeah,
just
you're in
no.
that same corner. We're all in the corner. It's called Let's Go Hunt.
Hit the trash can. Missed.
Did it shatter into a million pieces like Kobe?
No, just
Darn.
got its face smashed in. So
But
all right.
So I don't stop me if I've told this one before, but we were
You've told us one
Stop.
before.
when I worked at specific sandwich delivery place, one of the maintenance guys was up
Juicy
on a
Mike's?
ladder and he was changing Jimmy John's. He was up on a ladder and he was changing a light bulb and the trash can was right next to him. He pulls the
Oh,
bulb
God.
down and he aims for the trash can and he yells, "Kobe," and throws the bulb. Well, the bulb
You-
misses, smashes into the ground into 1,000 pieces, and I yell, "No, that's Kobe."
You've
He almost
told
fell
this,
off the ladder.
You've told this story at least half a dozen times.
It's one of my favorites because it's funny.
We can
and I'm-
tell.
I do that like every other day, man.
It's still a good story.
It's it's a good joke.
It's a good joke, yes.
So anyway,
Well-
support the sport.
real quick, a bit of advice for waterfowl hunting: if they hit the water and their head is up, you keep shooting until their head is down.
That's good advice. I can
Um,
attest to a lot of this.
All ducks dive, and all geese dive. Geese will dive on you.
I would love to see a submerged goose. I would love to see a submerged flock of geese just swimming underneath in V formation. You would just reach down and grab one by the
I
neck.
know
Like, gotcha.
Geese and ducks, they'll just go down on you.
Submerged goose.
Yeah, they will just dive under the water. They're trying to get away from you.
I'd love that waterfowl go down on you.
Okay, Vince.
All right, Sam, you can have your corner. Mike can go back in the farther corner.
Thank you. That is good advice, though. I'm trying really hard to keep it together, but that's good advice.
Vince, get us out of here.
All right, so
But before you do, thank you
Oh.
once again, Duck Squeezer, for coming and joining us. I can't wait for the next time.
Maybe I can
Vince.
come on in a few weeks and talk turkey.
I'm in. Absolutely. And then we can figure out how, in the meantime, we can
turkey?
talk about, I need to figure out how to turkey. That's one.
That's
of the
my
things.
goal with this operation. Is I want to go turkey hunting this spring still. So
You
When
all
you-
can talk turkey. I'll talk Armenia, and then we'll have the debate.
well,
no,
That sounds
I would be
good.
talking Turkish, and you'd be talking Armenian. I'm talking turkey, like the actual bird.
Yeah,
Hush.
the country.
Yeah,
The
Sam, you can
delicious
talk ham
sandwich.
because it rhymes with you.
Vince, talk
Yeah,
outro.
before you fall asleep, and no more interruptions.
So anyway, you people
Oh,
out
one more
there,
thing.
support the sport and take a buddy hunting. Mike, shut up. Get some trauma training. If you enjoy us, share us with your friends and family. Follow us on Instagram at Let's Go Hunt Podcast and Reddit at r/Let's Go Hunt Podcast. Check the show notes for info on Initiative 91, the ban on kitty cat hunting in Colorado. Thanks for listening, and let's go hunt.
Well, there's only one possible show title. and
I
that's
know,
correct.
but can we discuss the other ones?
Extincted service elephants, coos, moose, Tyrannosaurus, Tyrannosaurhouse.
Tyrannosaurhouse is actually.
We'll use it as a subtitle. Leg day, rogue fish squeezer, eagles at home, and submerged goose.
Dude, Return of the Fish Squeezer, Tyrannosaurhouse.
All right.
Or the other way around, Tyrannosaurhouse.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Jeff.
Bye, Jeff.
Love you,
Bye,
brother.
Jeff.
We
Bye.
love you.
Love you. Love you so
Love you
much.
too, Dave.
Thanks.
What about me? I was gonna fuck myself, I guess.
Are we still live?
Yeah, we're still live.
Oh, shit.
It's okay. Nobody